Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
We'll introduce you to the new Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Diocese. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have that story coming up.
Perfecting the craft of beer brewing. And as students and teachers return to the classroom, the new Pope Francis Preparatory School officially opens its doors. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome. Today we're kicking off our 34th season of Reel to Reel, Western New England's longest running television magazine program. And we are thrilled today to be bringing you a look at the new Pope Francis Preparatory School in Springfield. The $55 million, 122,000 square foot, 4-level building sits on 29 acres at 99 Wendover Road in Springfield. Both inside and out, it is an amazing campus. And this week, students and teachers began the 2018-2019 academic year in this state-of-the-art space, now known as Cardinal Country. At first glance, Pope Francis Preparatory School looks more like a college campus than a high school. 27 classrooms or teaching spaces, a theater seating nearly 500, a dining commons with a full kitchen, innovative science and engineering lab spaces, and a learning commons staircase that will serve as open space for class discussions and group study. Head of School, Paul Harrington.
I think this is our opportunity to reimagine Catholic education at the secondary level. Schools don't look like this. Catholic schools aren't being built like this.
Harrington says the campus is spectacular, but what sets this school apart from all others is the values-based education it provides to its students. A mission of service in line with the vision of the school's namesake, the current Pope.
Our Pope, Pope Francis, is about love and compassion and really reaching out to the poor and being a model for, I think, for young people. And it seems that our students and young people in general respond to this Pope quite well.
Senior Rachel Shannon went to Mater Della Rosa School in Holyoke through grade 8 and began her high school career at Holyoke Catholic. She says a faith-based education is important to her.
This coming year I'm going to be part of the Christian leadership class, so it allows us to incorporate faith into like the daily life. So saying morning prayer and organizing things like prayer services and retreats, so it involves it into like everyday life.
This new facility, a 3.5-year project designed to promote faith, academics, arts, and athletics, is the result of the vision of Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky and a host of teams, committees, and building professionals. First, merging the former Holyoke Catholic and Cathedral high schools into one, then building a brand new facility that would sustain Catholic education in the Diocese of Springfield.
So from what the bishop envisioned, this is what the building committee, the architects, Fontaine Brothers, and our team put together for the bishop. And I think we met his goals. I've been involved with a number of projects. This is actually my third high school that I've been involved with in my career. I don't think I've seen the cooperation on any other project. I've had workers from Fontaine tell me, I'm nearing the end of my career. I couldn't have gone out with a better project.
One of the most thought-filled additions to the school was celebrated last week as the St. Joseph Chapel was dedicated and blessed by the bishop during a special ceremony attended by the Sisters of St. Joseph. The sisters who taught in the legacy Catholic high schools of Holyoke and Springfield were honored with every sister's name etched on the windows at the entrance to the chapel, named for their patron saint. Sister Angela Dady taught at Holyoke Catholic from 1974 to 1988.
I'm a graduate of Cathedral High School. So when I saw the windows, I was looking for those outstanding teachers that I had that inspired me not only to be a teacher, but to be a religious, to join them. And so I really think it's appropriate, and it will be a blessing for this building to have this chapel dedicated to St. Joseph.
Sister Alice Kenny taught and also served as principal at the first Cathedral High School on Elliott Street in Springfield.
Looking at those names, while the bishop read, I couldn't take my eyes off it. There are older sisters, really, and I'm old. I'm 90, but I'm looking at all those old people that I didn't even know were part of Holyoke Catholic and part of Cathedral.
A new space rich in history of those who have gone before, Pope Francis High School officially changed its name to Pope Francis Preparatory with the beginning of this academic year, in moving forward with a mission to develop well-educated critical thinkers and faith-based leaders. The school will strive to fulfill a mission of providing a rigorous academic course selection, including honors, advanced placement, and virtual high school classes, competitive athletics, and diverse extracurricular activities.
So it's really our responsibility to take this new and exciting space and prepare to the best of our ability our students for what's to come tomorrow.
Senior Joe Salvin, who began his high school career at Cathedral, says he is confident he will be well prepared for college.
So for me personally, and a lot of the other students will say the same, they push themselves pretty hard here to try and get ready for what lies ahead, whether it be college or any job, career that they will pursue. I think that the teachers and the administration also help to push you and prepare you for what's on the road to come.
And this road, finally paved, is ready for many years of successful secondary school learning opportunities in Cardinal Country. Congratulations to all here at Pope Francis on a beautiful facility. By the way, the school is planning a series of open houses and will be announcing all of those dates coming up on September 4th. You can get that info on the school's social media sites or check out iObserve on September 4th. There are lots of new additions to the Catholic school system of the diocese, a new high school, and also a new school superintendent. Daniel Belarjan first took the helm July 1st as the first lay superintendent of diocesan schools. The father of 8 says he is passionate about this ministry of the church, which not only seeks to educate children, but connects them to faith in the classroom. Carolee McGrath caught up with the superintendent as he was getting ready for the first day and has this report.
There is no doubt Daniel Belarjan is a busy man and wrapped around little Colette's finger. He and his wife Megan just welcomed their 8th baby, baby Andre. They just moved into a new home, and now he's starting a new job as superintendent of schools for the Diocese of Springfield. Are you excited?
There's a lot of work, yeah. So I am excited. I completed my studies in educational leadership and policy studies specifically for Catholic schools. And so being here is a really good opportunity to be able to utilize what I learned, both as a principal in schools and also through my programs.
Back in June, Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky announced the appointment of Belarjan as the first layperson ever to serve as superintendent of schools for the diocese. Belarjan grew up in Connecticut. He taught in Catholic schools and served as principal in Catholic schools, most recently as interim principal for a school in the Diocese of Manchester, New Hampshire. He earned his doctorate in Catholic education leadership at the Catholic University of America in D.C. Belarjan is a musician earning a degree in music from UConn in 2001. He and Megan have been actively involved in music ministry and youth ministry through the years. In fact, he met Megan when he taught her how to play guitar.
My wife is the oldest of 10, and I'm from a small family. When we met, we really dedicated our life and our work to advancing the faith, right? Because to us, it made so much sense. It was what drew us together. Everything that we've done has been centered around the faith. So after we were married, our honeymoon, we went to Rome, and we got to meet with John Paul II very briefly. And it was a beautiful moment because when we were there with him for the few minutes that we were there, he just looked at us and we looked at him and we realized that we were loved.
The Belarjans are sending their children to Catholic schools and recently attended the welcome picnic at St. Michael's Academy in Springfield. Their oldest son, Jonathan, will attend Pope Francis. In between moving and settling his children into school, Belarjan has been busy this summer making all 13 Catholic schools in the diocese ready to roll. We caught up to him on a tour of St. Stanislaus School in Chicopee.
Each one of our schools has a unique ability to present Jesus to the students in their own particular way, and it's beautiful what they do. And each of the schools has graduates who go on to be valedictorians and salutatorians and top 10 in their class and National Honor Society members and great college students. We need to start telling those stories. We need to start telling them better.
It's no secret that there's been a decline in the number of Catholic schools across the country, especially in the Northeast, and not as many people are attending Mass. But Superintendent Belarjan says the way to change all of that is to effectively communicate to parents that Catholic schools not only offer academic excellence, but they also offer kids an opportunity to encounter Jesus and to understand truth.
We can talk with the students about the fact that God exists, that He is with them, that He's not some sort of abstract reality, that He is truly there, and Jesus Christ is there as well, right? So if we center ourselves on the person of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist, then we center ourselves on truth. In that way, the schools can help to work with the churches to bring families back, because I think that we have lost a little bit of our faith, right? As a Catholic community, we've lost a little bit of our faith in the institutional church. And so our Catholic families benefit because the school is supporting them in helping to clarify the faith and providing opportunities for this growth in the faith for the students. And our non-Catholic families benefit because the education is based in truth, but it is, as I said before, academically excellent.
Belarjan says despite what the numbers may show about the future of the Catholic Church, he and his wife see things differently.
We had a great pastor when we were in Alexandria, Virginia, Father Matthew Zuberbuehler, and one of the themes for the school that we had was believing is seeing. He talked about John's Gospel and how Jesus said, blessed are those who believe but don't see. And our world says seeing is believing, and so it's really, it's a great paradox in that way to think about it, believing is seeing. And I think that for the two of us, that's how we spend our life. So because we believe that God exists, because we believe the church is there, because we believe in who Christ is, we see things differently.
And he's hoping to share this great message of hope with children and families as he leads this ministry of the church in the Diocese of Springfield. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And we join in welcoming the superintendent, his wife Megan, and their children to the diocese. I'm honored now to be joined by our Bishop, Mitchell Rosansky. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Sharon. It's good to be here.
Well, the diocese begins the new academic year with a new superintendent and new Catholic high school. Exciting times for sure. What are your thoughts as teachers and students head back to the classroom?
Well, first of all, a new school year is always an exciting time. And so it's just a wonderful way to start this school year. We welcomed Dan Belarjan on board as our superintendent of schools. We've opened the new building at Pope Francis High School, and our schools are opening up, welcoming students, and infusing in that whole educational process what it means to be a disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ. Our Catholic schools, our parishes, all exist to help us to be disciples of the Lord Jesus. And I'm excited that we have come to this part of our history in education here in the Diocese of Springfield. It's an exciting year, an exciting beginning to the year, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful school year for everyone.
And it certainly was a difficult summer for the Catholic Church with the Pennsylvania grand jury report and other revelations. What do you have to say to the Catholic community here in Western Massachusetts?
First of all, as bishop, as shepherd, I'm conscious of those who have suffered at the hands of sexual abuse of clergy. And I want to, again, apologize to those victims and say that we're doing everything we can to help them in their lives. Secondly, I want to assure our people that we have in place training and courses that help us to look at the signs of when sexual abuse might be happening so that we can have a higher awareness of what is going on. And all that we have in place is for the security and safety of our children. That is prime in all of our parishes, our schools, all of our institutions, that we have this in place and continue to have this in place and continue to be vigilant.
Well, thank you so much, Bishop, for joining us today.
Sharon, thank you so much. And it's good to be able to speak with the people of the diocese through Real to Real.
And we have much more to come on Real to Real. Continuing efforts to create safe environments for children and youth. And a South Hadley parishioner using his chemical engineering experience to perfect beer brewing. These stories and more are still to come on Real to Real.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, inviting you to take time out of your busy day and join us Sunday morning. We welcome Father Henry Dorsch as our Mass presider and celebrate the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Chalice of Salvation, Sunday mornings at 10 on 22 News, and coming up next on Fox 23 WXXA.
The Catholic Church has had a rough time in the 21st century. Parishes and schools have closed and merged, and stories of clergy abuse are still making headlines and breaking hearts. But here in the Diocese of Springfield, hope for the future of our faith is present right now in the children and young adults of our parishes and schools. So we have dedicated the September issue of the Catholic Mirror to the themes of youth and education. As the doors open for the first time on the campus of the new Pope Francis Preparatory School, our cover story provides a look at how the academic and extracurricular opportunities will be grounded in the practice and purpose of the Catholic faith. And a group of high school and college-age Catholics have an important message for all parents, grandparents, priests, parishioners, educators, and friends. Your example, your presence, your encouragement, and your discipline have made a difference. These powerful testimonies of young Catholics are presented in our Always With You series. The importance of ministering to our youth also is reflected in local news reports. Daniel Balarjian is the first layperson to be named as Superintendent of Catholic Schools in the diocese, and St. Mary High School graduate Matthew Collins is the school's new principal. Finally, the strength of our local church is reflected in our latest parish angel, a widowed mother of 7 whose faith and volunteerism have not faltered despite the closing and merger of her own parish. And Bishop Rosansky offers his encouragement and blessings to all who guide our young Catholics in their journeys of discipleship. As we in the Catholic Church continue our pilgrim's progress toward the home of the Father, we will sometimes lead and sometimes be led by the younger ones among us, who we know have been paying close attention all along. At the editor's desk, I'm Rebecca Drake.
It's been a tumultuous summer for the Catholic Church as once again its past failures in protecting children have re-emerged. Unfortunately, what is lost in most of the recent news coverage are the efforts which have been largely successful in creating safe environments, procedures and trainings that exceed any other institutional efforts either in public schools or the private sector. In 2017, the Diocese of Springfield implemented a program aimed at creating a safe environment for children and youth in the Catholic Church in Western Massachusetts. The training is one of 3 steps necessary for all adults who come into contact with young people through their ministries. Kathy Harrington reports.
He told me he was helping me. I didn't know how this could happen without my knowing.
Real and very personal stories from the new Protecting God's Children training now required by the Diocese of Springfield.
But we wanted to find a program that was effective, that was based in Catholic values, and that really gives people skills and understanding about the dynamics of child abuse, and then especially what we can do to prevent it.
Introduced at a day-long training session in August, Virtus includes best practices to prevent and to identify the signs of abuse. All clergy, employees, and volunteers in the diocese who come into contact with children and youth are required to go through the training, either in a group or online.
The training is important because the Catholic Church needs to rebuild trust.
Through videos, written materials, and online training, Virtus teaches how to provide a safe environment, and just as important, acknowledges abuses of the past. Pope Francis, writing in a letter to Catholics around the world, quoted St. Paul, "If one member suffers, all suffer together." During his visit to Ireland, the Holy Father again acknowledged the abuses.
Il fallimento delle autorità ecclesiastiche, vescovi, superiori religiosi, sacerdoti e altri nell'affrontare adeguatamente questi crimini repugnanti ha giustamente suscitato indignazione e rimane causa di sofferenza e di vergogna per la comunità cattolica. Io stesso condivido questi sentimenti.
Pope Francis also begged for forgiveness for the sins and the scandal and the betrayal felt by so many in God's family, and said no effort can be spared to prevent abuse in the Church.
Più recentemente, in una lettera al popolo di Dio, ho ribadito l'impegno, anzi un maggior impegno per eliminare questo flagello nella Chiesa, a qualsiasi costo morale e di sofferenza.
We want to protect children. We've learned an awful lot about the signs of abuse. But wherever there is a power differential between older and younger, or more power, less power, smarter, there's the potential for harm.
Sadly, I think change happens by crisis too many times, and this crisis is it's just beyond words to describe how sad that is. But if something good can come out of it, and this is one of the goods that can come out of it, we thank God.
Security measures implemented over the last decade limit access to children in Catholic churches and schools.
As a church, to have that wake-up call and remember that not only a church of saints, but also of sinners, and protecting our children and our most vulnerable seniors and other populations, this is a good that came out of it.
Virtus training is another step that fortifies and unites the background checks, and the strict code of conduct already in place. Key to its success is introducing the program in the parishes.
It's very simple for me as the child advocate to go on the section of the online training for administrators and find out who has done the training and when they completed the training, so that I have all that information for the audit at the end of the year.
Once completed, the director, the parish child advocate, and the pastor will have access to the Virtus training base, tracking people involved in more than one parish.
Virtus is a continuous training program with interactive monthly bulletins aimed at preventing abuse and protecting the most vulnerable people.
We need to hear the cries of the victims, and in hearing the cries of the victims, we need to be ever more vigilant and ever more steadfast in knowing that this will never happen again.
For Real to Real, I'm Kathy Harrington.
And finally today on this Labor Day weekend, a labor of love for one parishioner of St. Patrick's Parish in South Hadley. In this next story, produced by our spring intern Blair Coulter from Westfield State University, we learn how one Holyoke resident took his chemical engineering experience and applied it to the art of craft beer brewing.
Hi, I'm here at Gateway City Arts in Holyoke talking to Mike Pratt about how his brewing can help bring the community together.
Hi, I'm Mike Pratt. I'm a home brewer, and I'm starting a new brewery here in Holyoke this summer, and it's called Holyoke Craft Beer. Well, I've been brewing beer for about 10 years, and I had the first opportunity to make wine when I was an undergrad student at UMass working on my chemical engineering degree. There was a lab for senior year, and during that lab, it was a fermentation lab, we got to make wine, and ever since I've been pretty much hooked.
For Pratt, it was a hobby, something that at UMass he would get to do on his own. That is, until he got his friends involved in the process.
It really became a fun thing for us to get together and spend a day together and trying different home brews that we made previously and making the next batch, and so it's been kind of fun.
However, Pratt's community extends past just his friends that he brews with. He and his wife are active members of St. Patrick's Parish and participate often in their outreach programs.
One of the ones we really enjoy is the Take and Eat program. About once a month we deliver Meals on Wheels to the homebound. My wife and I and our 2 young daughters, we do that on a Sunday afternoon, and it's just a great way to give back to the community. And it's good to reach out to some people that are homebound. They haven't seen someone maybe in a week or so, and it's just good to touch base with them as well.
With Pratt's commitment to his community, it's no wonder he's willing to devote his favorite hobby to the revitalization of the Holyoke area.
We're from Holyoke, and we really enjoy it here, and we want to see Holyoke continue to grow. And this is just another great, exciting business to start down there.
However, one of Pratt's greatest joys about his local community is the fresh local ingredients.
There's a local maltster in Hadley, and so they get all their grain grown in the Northeast and New England and malt it right down the street. So that's like really exciting because you can just have the freshest ingredients in your beer. And there's also local hop farms too grown. So be able to use local malt and local hops is truly exciting for me, and to be able to craft a recipe so that it tastes good is fun for me as well. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have a good fresh beer, but it's even better to be able to share that with your friends and family. And so starting a brewery, I want to be able to share that with the community too. And so, downtown in the Arts and Innovation District, there's so many things going on, and just having the brewery down there, I hope will encourage more people to go down there and share the beer together, and also explore some of the other businesses that are starting.
Pratt and I traveled to the location his beer will be sold later this year, Gateway City Arts in Holyoke, where he told me a little bit about what to expect from his brewery.
So these are some of the beers we'll be having on tap here at Gateway City Arts. It's made in our test kitchen at home where we were earlier. The first one's a white ale, which is made with a little bit of wheat, local wheat and local malt. And the IPA, mostly local ingredients, some Citra and Mosaic hops in there, pretty similar to a New England IPA, and a Pilsner, so a very crisp, refreshing beer.
I personally look forward to trying Pratt's beer and enjoying the revitalization he will help create with his brewery here in Holyoke.
Thanks, Blair. Good job on your segment. And Mike Pratt's beer will be making its public debut next weekend at the Connecticut River Brew Fest at the Holyoke Canoe Club on Route 5 in Holyoke. And we've posted a link at iobserve.org. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks so much to the folks here at Pope Francis Preparatory School for hosting our visit today. It certainly is an amazing school, and we wish them all the best. Remember, you can always find information and the latest news on the Catholic Church on our news and information site, iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. Also, check us out and friend us on Facebook at Catholic Communications. On this Labor Day weekend, we hope that you will get a chance to soak in some of these last days of summer. And we will see you next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.